Due to the large crowd today, the game's going to be delayed until 1:30. So I have a chance to talk to one of my favorite players on the ball club, and Scott Sanderson. Everybody's kind of concerned about how that back is feeling, but I understand that there is some good news.
Well, the good news is that I'm going to start tomorrow. At least I'm supposed to start tomorrow. I plan on going out there and doing the best I can, but again, I'm anxious to get out there and try to help the ball club. You know, it's not easy, Steve, sitting on the bench and watching. Even though we're doing so well, you like to get out there and you know, at least feel like you're helping in the winning ways.
Well, just about everybody but Dr. Seuss came and examined your back. What was the final diagnosis?
Well, the problem that I had was strictly muscular, and which I guess is good news. There's no structural problem there. There's no disc problem or spinal problem. It's just in the muscle. So the main thing was that we relax the muscle and give it time to heal itself. And we're pretty sure right now that has taken its full course, and that I'll be able to pitch from here on out.
When you worked out, did you throw all of your pitches and then felt no discomfort at all?
Well, the last time that I threw on the side, I really felt pretty good. And the only thing was about 3 days later, it started hurting again for a little bit, so we backed off for a couple days. And instead of pitching last Friday, I'll pitch Monday. So in my mind, it's good that I just missed really about 2 more days.
Well, the man down the left field line right now, Dennis Eckersley, is no stranger to you. You saw him in the 1982 All-Star game. You said you were right down there. How did he look?
He looked great. I made a point of being right by the bullpen when he was warming up, and I watched him throw. I was greatly impressed with him. But I've seen Dennis pitch on TV more than a couple times, and I really feel he's going to help out our ball club an awful lot. You've been reading in the newspaper lately what a great competitor he is. Really, you don't understand that until you've played with him or against him. I've not had the privilege of playing with him or against him yet, but it's great to have him on our team, and I'm sure he's going to be a big help.
Well, how is your back problem going to affect your bat? You know, you've been hitting the ball pretty well.
Well, I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens tomorrow. Hopefully, Larry Bowe or someone will be on base when I come up, and I'll be able to sacrifice the bottom over. But I don't know what's going to happen as far as the back goes.
Well, when you sit out for a while and you don't have those starts in the regular rotation, what do you expect when you do get back into the ball game? Is there a control problem?
Well, I think control is a lot mental. I really do. And control always has been one of my strong points. I don't walk many people, and I don't anticipate walking people tomorrow. I expect to have a good game. I really think that's the only way to approach the game. That's the only way to go into the game tomorrow, is expecting to do very well, and that's how I feel.
Well, Scott, thanks a lot. Good luck to you. I'm glad you're feeling better, and I know you can help out the ball club.
Okay, thank you.
It's going to be a tough one today because the Cubs are going to face Mario Soto. Mario is 7-1 this year. He's throwing the ball great. He's won 6 straight. The only game he lost 1-0. This is a guy that doesn't give you too much, so you got to bear down. And the man trying to bear down for the Cubs, Dennis Eckersley. He's 4-4 this year with a 5-point earned run average. Now here's a guy who's 22 games over 500 lifetime. He's won 124 games. He's been an all-star twice. He's won 20 games once. He can throw the ball well, and if he were going to pick a day to pitch here, this would be the day. It's cool, the wind is blowing in, the ball is not carrying all that well. But the key to the game today is on the right hand of Mario Soto. He's got a blister on his pitching finger. It caused him to miss 2 or 3 starts last year. It's been bothering him from the last start till this. He had some therapy on it, and Stan Williams, our pitching coach, said he doesn't know how long he'll be able to go today. Something for you to watch, the control of Dennis Eckersley. Only 13 walks in 64 innings. He's a good one. Stay tuned for baseball. Guests on Leadoff Man receive this Zenith AC/DC portable TV that you can use anywhere, auto, beach, or camping. Zenith. The quality goes in before the name goes on. Leadoff Man was brought to you by Heinz Lumber. Your money goes further when you go to Heinz. Leadoff Man is a WGN television sports presentation.
Weeknights at 6 on Channel 9.
Okay, let's move out. Get a jump on a bad guy.
Business is never usual at the 12th precinct.
When we didn't stop talking, she fired a shot in the air.
Noise is the only thing these people understand.
And the people aren't either.
That old lady, she was going to kill me for the money. She said she needed brakes and a new dinette set. You heard her?
Women.
Barney Miller, weeknights at 6 on Channel 9.
When you turn your way, welcome home. It's your Channel It's a beautiful day for baseball at Wrigley Field in Chicago as the Chicago Cubs face the troublesome Cincinnati Reds.
Participating advertisers in Cubs baseball are Budweiser, the king of beers and proud sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Your neighborhood True Value hardware stores. Toyota's exciting cars and trucks for 1984. Toyota invites you to see them at your local dealer. Union 76 and your neighborhood Union 76 dealers, who invite you to go with the spirit of 76. Canon, the official 35mm camera of the 1984 Olympics. United Airlines, you're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies. Zenith, see all the close-up action on the Smart Set by Zenith. At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on. The Yellow Pages, it's the small investment that keeps your big investments paying off. And your Chicagoland McDonald's restaurants, where you can get all your favorite tastes in just one place. McDonald's. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago National League Ball Club, which has the right of approval of the announcers and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Chicago National League Ball Club is prohibited.
Hello again, everybody. This is Harry Caray at Wrigley Field, where the Cubs will try to get back one of their winning ways, facing the Cincinnati Reds, who won the first two games in the series. The game was scheduled to start at 1:20 to accommodate the milling throng, which is outside Wrigley Field, trying to purchase tickets and trying to get through the pass gates. They have delayed the start of the game until 1:30, so you still have plenty of time to get out here and see the Cubs. Now, I don't know whether this big crowd, which has turned out, is in response to the Cubs' surprising showing so far this year, or whether it's an answer to the weathermen who were forecasting such a terrible day on this Sunday, on the Decoration Day holiday weekend, and the weatherman has decided to be absolutely opposite to what the forecast had predicted. A gorgeous afternoon. The sky, a blanket of azure blue from which shines a very bright and warm sun. A little bit of a breeze here in the stands. It's niffier where the sun doesn't hit than it is where it does. But nobody can complain about this afternoon. It's a dandy. Dennis Eckersley will be pitching for the Chicago Cubs. He'll be making his debut. It wasn't too many years ago that a fellow named Don Cardwell, making his debut after being acquired in a trade, facing the St. Louis Cardinals in his first outing as a new member of the Chicago Cubs, broke in about as brilliantly as anybody can break in with a new team when he pitched a no-hit, no-run game against the St. Louis Cardinals. I know about that because I was in the Cardinal broadcasting booth on that occasion and saw Walt Morin end the no-hitter with a spectacular catch of what looked like it would break up the no-hitter off the bat of Joe Cunningham. Morin making a fine shoestring catch to preserve Cardwell's no-hitter. Who knows? Maybe Dennis Eckersley is slated for the same kind of a debut here today. I tell you, it wouldn't be the first time in his life, because a few years ago, back in 1977, he pitched a no-hit, no-run game, out-pitching Frank Tanana of the Angels, beating him 1-0, striking out 12 during his no-hitter. So Eckersley is capable of doing something like that. His mound opponent today will be shooting for his 7th victory in a row. Mario Soto, who's won 7 and lost 1 with a brilliant earned run average of 2.61. So we're sure to have a heck of a mound duel. Arnie has some of the highlights of yesterday's heartbreaking loss we can show you right now. Starting off, the game got away to a thrilling note in the first inning. When Dan Drayson hit this fly ball with a runner at third, Bobby Dernier coming in is in perfect rhythm, makes a perfect no-bounds throw to Jody Davis, and look how he's got the plate blocked off. No way that Gary Reedus, in spite of his great speed, could get in there. The Cubs were trailing all through this ball game, and here's Mel Hall pulling him within reaching distance as he triples into the right field corner. That made it 5-3 right here. A little later, Larry Boa comes through with a 2-run single that ties it up at 5-5. And then in the bottom of the 7th, Ron Say gives the Cubs the lead. This one looks like it's leaving the ballpark, but it's merely stuck into the ivy, and that's why the ball disappeared. It's ruled a ground rule double, but Durham was stolen second a moment ago and scored, and the Cubs are ahead. Here now is where Stoddard gets hurt. He tries to get out of the way of that ground ball off the bat of Gary Matthews, and there's where he pulled a hamstring. Now here's the game winner coming up in a moment after 2 errors. And boy, Steve Trout really battled him, got the pit just a fraction higher than he wanted to, and Perez drives in the tying and the winning run. And that's how the Chicago Cubs are beaten by the Cincinnati Reds yesterday. Here today, we're going to have perhaps the biggest crowd of the year. That is indicated by the fact that they've had to delay the start of the game by some 15 minutes to enable the people to get through the gates. And I notice that they're standing in the aisles. Arnie, I wonder if one of our cameras... Yeah, we can show it to you. This is the first time I think they've been sitting in the aisles, standing in the aisles rather than in the seats. There you can see them, which means there'll be a standing room only crowd. And this series and this homestand will end tomorrow with a Memorial Day ball game with the Cincinnati Reds. And Scott Sanderson is scheduled to come off the ailing list and pitch for the Cubs tomorrow afternoon, a game that will get underway at the regular time of 1:20. In a moment, the lineups have already been given, and we can give them to you right now. For the Cincinnati Reds, leading it off, Gary Reedus in left field. Batting second, Eddie Milner in center field. In the third slot, Dan Drayson, their first baseman. Batting cleanup, Dave Parker in right field. Hitting fifth, their catcher, Brad Golden. Wayne Krenchicki is playing third in place of Dave Concepcion today. Ron Oster's at second base. Tom Foley's their shortstop. Mario Soto, shooting for his 7th in a row, will be the pitcher. For the Chicago Cubs, we'll have Bobby Dernier in center field. Ryan Sandberg at second base. Gary Matthews in left field. Leon Durham at first base. Mel Hall in right field. Ron Say at third base. Jody Davis, the catcher. Larry Boa, the shortstop. And Dennis Eckersley, a handsome young man from Southern California, with won 4 and lost 4 during the season for the Boston Red Sox, will be making his National League debut here this afternoon. There are the umpires for you. Paul Runge behind the plate. Randy Marsh at first base. Bob Engel at second base, and Steve Rippley at third base. You know, Eckersley is a sinker baller, and the National League umpires are known for calling the low strike. This ought to be an advantage for Eckersley rather than a disadvantage. In the American League, they give you the high strike, but he doesn't throw high when he's right. He keeps the ball down. So, just a little bit of trivia that we throw in there for further consideration so far as this ball game is concerned. The left field and center field and right field bleachers are packed. They're standing in the aisles here at Wrigley Field. And wherever you are, I hope that you will make sure that it is a safe and a secure holiday weekend, not only for yourself, but for everybody else that you come in contact with. These long holidays, the only tragic thing that comes from them are the accidents that you read about, the fatalities on the highways the morning after. So make sure, don't only worry about your own driving, but make sure you think about that other guy. Because as right as you are, you have to be even more alert to compensate for the mistakes of somebody else. We don't want to lose you, you know. We want you with us because this is going to be one remarkably exciting year. The Chicago Cubs are for real. And in spite of all these headaches and leg aches and injuries, it hasn't diffused the enthusiasm of this team one iota. Now, ladies and gentlemen, celebrating our Memorial Day holiday, our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Claire Nolan Long.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the free?
Hello again, everybody. Harry Caray and Steve Stone were at Wrigley Field, a capacity crowd. And there you're looking at handsome Dennis Eckersley, joining a new ball club, pitching for the first time in a new league. I bet he was asking a lot of questions of other players.
Well, he was worried about his hitting, Harry. Before the game, he hit one out in the stands in left center field, and he said, well, I'm going to swing hard just in case I hit the ball. And Jody Davis says, I'll do the same thing with you than I do with Lee Smith. As soon as the pitcher starts to deliver, I'll say now, and you swing.
Here we go. There you can look at the Cubs defense. St. Louis Cardinals have already scored 6 runs and are still batting with 1 out in the first inning in Atlanta. Final game in his homestand tomorrow. Gary Rita's leading it off. Eckersley's first pitch in the National League. Here's a strike at the knee.
If he continues his pattern, he's going to be very tough for right-hand hitters to hit, but he says he's come up with a new pitch against left-handers. He turns the ball over and sinks it on the outside corner.
Rita swings and he misses. Rita's 0 for 8 in this series, batting .311 for the year with 3 homers and 8 RBI. 0-2 the count. Eckersley's pitch. He started the swing, he checked in time. Eckersley, 1-4 loss for a while with the Red Sox. Now the delivery, 1-2, the pitch. Just missed. A slider low and away.
He had a lot of shoulder problems last season, but he credits Dr. Pappas in Boston for finding out a weakness in his shoulder and helping him work on it.
The pitch. High pop foul coming back as Jody Davis near the screen. No play.
Eckersley said he worked all winter on a Cybex machine, which is a strengthening device. You get full extension and full rotation in the shoulder joint, and it helps strengthen the muscles. And he said that it wasn't tendonitis or it wasn't a rotator cuff problem. Simply one muscle wasn't working quite as well as the other muscles. But this year he feels exceptionally strong. And in this first inning, at least, he's popping the ball.
2-2 pitch. Reedus, a speed demon. Strike him out! Reedus is called out on strike.
This is a slider that Eckersley throws to right-handers. Watch it. It breaks away ever so slightly. It's down, and he gets the benefit of the call from Paul Runge.
Mario Soto's still warming up down in the right field corner. He's just finishing up. He's had blister problems. 1 out, nobody on. Here's Eddie Milner. You never know it from his record, though, that anything's bothering him. Milner hitting .292. Takes a pitch outside, ball 1. At Minnesota, they've had to delay the start of the game to accommodate the big crowd. How's that? Here's a pitch foul back and out of play. In the NBA World Series of Basketball, the Lakers are leading by 13.5 over the Celtics. A ball and a strike. There's a fly ball. Left field should be caught. Gary Matthews has it. 2 up, 2 down, and here's Dan Dreesen.
Eckersley before the game said that a lot of these Reds are not strangers to him. He faced them in spring training down the years. He said he even faced Mario Soto about 6 or 7 years ago. So the Reds have some looks at Eckersley, but in a new situation, advantage goes to the pitcher.
Here's Dreesen now, good left-hand hitter. The strike is caught over the inside corner just above the knee. Boy, his location has been perfect in his first inning. The delivery, sinker low and away. That evens a count, a ball and a strike.
That last pitch was the new pitch that Eckersley's been working on.
Pitch is inside, a breaking ball, ball 2. 2 balls and a strike, 2 men are out, nobody on. Dan Dreesen, 3 out of 7 in this series. Strike called at the knees. And that evens the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on. A capacity crowd at Wrigley Field. There's a drive, deep right field will be caught. Dernier's over there and Hall, and who caught it?
Mel Hall made the catch.
Dernier just crossed by him, that's all. And Hall carries the ball on in. 1, 2, 3, nothing across. We're going to the bottom of the first, no score. Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field. We're going to the bottom of the first inning. No score. Bobby Dernier will be leading it off. Oh, here's a couple who was on a Cubs cruise. Carroll and Carl Foxell of Clinton, Illinois, here today to cheer the Cubs on. Here's Bobby Dernier hitting .311. Here from the Quad Cities today. Dernier had a cut and he missed. Mario Soto. Dernier was hitless against Soto in Cincinnati. As a matter of fact, the Cubs had only 3 hits against him. Jody Davis did a 2-run homer. Fastball a bit low and inside.
Pitchers try to develop calluses on those first two fingers, but sometimes a blister forms. There's a blister underneath the callus on one of his fingers.
Ball 2 is inside. 2 balls and a strike.
You'd never know it by the month of May that Soto is having. He's 5-0 with a 188 earned run average in May.
Shooting for his 7th in a row. He has a year's record of 7-1. High pop foul coming back and out of play. The Cardinals roll to 7th in the top of the first at Atlanta. Bob Harold of Wapella is also here with the Fox Elves. Bobby Dernier pops it up on the infield. A weak pop fly, too. The second baseman is there, Oster, and he makes the catch. Hey, he got it on his fingertip. 1 out. You know, we're proud of the many good restaurants in Chicago. A lot of the Cincinnati players, especially Frank Pastore, raving about Palermo is where a lot of the boys have been spending their time. One out, nobody on. Sandberg takes a strike call. Sandberg 1 out of 8 in this series. The Reds have always had good success against them. There you see Soto. High drive in the left center field. It'll be an easy out. The wind is blowing in. And they come to Sandberg, flags and third. Out! They got it. Boy, Milner, I think it was, who made the throw. And Sandberg, trying to go all the way to third, was cut down in a photo finish.
Both players call for the ball, and just as it looks like Gary Reedus is going to make the catch, and you see him calling for it, they're both looking. Now they come over. The ball drops. You don't get too many shots at Mario Soto.
Well, watch this throw by Milner.
Sandberg is cut down in third, but it's a perfect throw to Krenchicki. Nice call by Steve Rippley.
Here now is Gary Matthews. And there's the strike call. Well, they have an They give an error to Milner, and he also gives an assist. He threw the ball all the way in to third base to Krenchicki, who made the tag.
Tough error because the center fielder is the captain. And that's his call and his ball to take. Reedus is the man who should have backed off, and he bumped into Milner.
Half swing on, fouled it off his foot, and then it rolled into fair territory. Bruno Stokowski celebrating a birthday out in Phoenix. And Linda Grossman.
Wonder if
helping her husband, who's a very talented young man and entertainer here in town, Jerry Grossman, celebrate his birthday today.
Wonder if Bruno is playing ping pong. I once played that fellow in ping pong.
Yeah, he says to ask you about how good he is. 1-2 the count. Gary Matthews waiting. And it's high. That evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They say this Jerry Grossman, who's celebrating a birthday today, is a Chicago institution. Great entertainer. High pop foul coming back out of play.
You'd look at Soto, he looks like the perfect pitcher. And yet here's a guy that was drafted as an infielder, and the Reds converted him.
Boy, all the fine pitchers that have come from the Dominican Republic. I wonder if Juan Marichal knew what he was starting. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fouled it back to the screen. There's that high fastball. They try to keep it in tight on Gary Matthews. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 3 is low and away.
Stan Williams said that he had heard that Mario Soto had a great arm. He felt he was an overpowering pitcher, but when he came to Cincinnati, he said the thing that struck him was what a talented and smart pitcher Soto is.
Bouncing ball foul.
He says his control is exceptional. He's able to move the ball in and out, up and down at will. He throws a great changeup, and he knows a lot about pitching.
George Foster just hit his 9th home run of the year for the Mets. Struck him out on a high fastball. So it's no runs, no hits, 1 error, nobody left. At the end of 1 inning, no score. Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field. Here is Dave Parker to lead it off. Mary Swank, receptionist Jack Barry's office. Jack being a prominent attorney, Rothschild, Barry, and Myers. Here's a pitch to Dave Parker. Swung and he missed. Mary's here with her grandmother from Eagle River, Michigan, and Venice, Florida. Norma Swank and Eileen and Jim Swank, her parents. Family outing at Wrigley Field. Ground ball right to the first baseman. Durham's got it, 4 in a row, retired by Dennis Eckersley.
Eckersley has unusually good control. This season, only 13 walks in 65 innings. And when you're pitching in small ballparks, you don't want to put runners on base via the base on balls. You'd like them to hit their way on. Eckersley fills that bill. He's been an all-star twice. He won 20 games once. He is a quality pitcher. It was a great acquisition by Dallas Green.
1 out, nobody on. There's a high pop foul. Brad Golden hitting only 167, but he has hurt the Cubs in both games. I tell you, Dennis Eckersley has pitched a no-hit, no-run game before, as I mentioned. There's a pitch, a breaking ball at the low and inside.
Anytime you have an unusual motion, as does Eckersley, the advantage has to go to the pitcher when the hitter hasn't seen him. It takes a while to adjust.
Here's a pitch, and it's a little bit low and inside. 2 balls and a strike. When Don Cardwell pitched a no-hitter against the Cardinals, his first start as a member of the Cubs, they had a big crowd just like this, one hand. Swung, and he missed. And they were so enthralled by the masterpiece that they came charging onto the field. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Remember, another game here tomorrow against the Reds. There's a ground ball. Up with it is Sandberg nicely over to first for the out. Sandberg, a fine play to his right. 2 up, 2 down. Rhino is being featured in this week's Sports Illustrated. And right away, people draw a relationship between his error yesterday and the fact that he's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. There's a pitch. Kentucky lifts a high pop foul. Stay over near the stands. Don't get hurt. No chance to make a play.
One of the reasons that Krenchicki is playing today is, one, to rest Davy Concepcion, but also Krenchicki had a couple of hits last year while he was with Detroit against Eckersley. And there you see, say, a little bit of interference there by the fan, but umpire Steve Rippley right on top of it said not enough to call Wayne Krenchicki out.
The pitch. High drive, easy out. Bob Dernier back, waiting. He's got it. 2 perfect innings in a row. Pitched by Eckersley. Nothing across. We go into the bottom of the second, no score.
Chicago's very own Channel 9 is making headlines with Lou Grant, Sunday nights at 10:30.
Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field. Hey, listen. Bill and Carol Joy from Mesa, Arizona are here to see the Cubs today, and they're just back from visiting your restaurant, Stevens in Scottsdale, and they sent me your menu. When are you going to reduce those prices?
Well, they didn't tell you it was too high, what, did they?
Oh, they said they enjoyed themselves. And your manager there, Mark's quite a guy.
Well, I hope he charged him for that menu, Harry. You know, you can't just keep giving those things away.
I don't know. Jim Janik does it at Cafe Bohemia all the time. Here's Durham to lead it off. And the pitch a little bit low. Tim Schwab of Highland Park celebrating a birthday here. Ooh, he had a good cut. Hey, what better way to spend Memorial Day tomorrow than right here at Wrigley Field? Not only a holiday tomorrow, it's the big sunglasses day here. There's a long drive into the left field corner, twisting into foul territory.
Houston had very good success with Mario Soto, and they did it an unusual way. Soto became enamored with his changeup, so Houston just took all his fastballs, sat back and waited for his changeup, and they really pounded him. Although they won the game 1-0, they hit him better than a lot of people have hit him.
Here's the pitch. Wide. Well, Milo Carmelo Martinez just hit a homer with a man on for San Diego, and that's doing the Cubs a favor. They're beating the Phillies 2-0.
Soto looking down at his pitching finger. Perhaps it's giving him some problems. That would be good news for the Cubs.
2-2 pitch. Line foul again into the left field corner. South Central baseball team, ranked 11th in the state of Illinois, in Indiana rather. Their coach is Bob Schellinger. They're here today. Remember, every fan attending the game tomorrow will receive a pair of big sunglasses with the compliments of Budweiser. So it's fun in the sun on Budweiser's big sunglasses day tomorrow. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Leon Durham waiting. High ball 4, that's the day. Well, Durham is on. Tiger fans are here from Lansing, Michigan.
And now they're going to take a look at that finger. Vern Rapp is coming out. I saw Soto looking down at it. He is really experiencing some problems.
Come on, Vern. You don't want to get your ace pitcher hurt. I think you ought to take him out and let the doctor work on his blister and let somebody else come in and pitch.
Well, there's no doubt, Harry, that's definitely the wise decision at this point, especially with a 7-1 record.
He is a great pitcher. And quite a young man, too. Mario Soto, very competitive.
He's only walked 27 men in 80 innings, while striking out 70. He's given up 9 home runs, so you can take the ball deep against Soto.
There's the pitch. Mel Hall hits the ground ball, make it through the right field. Here comes Durham around second on his way to third. And his runners at first and third with nobody out. And the Cubs with a chance to jump out in front. Watch the replay. This ball just barely gets by.
Leon Durham has a bit of a hamstring problem, but it doesn't seem to affect him going from first to third. He's got a heavily wrapped thigh. But Mel Hall able to get the ball through the right side, leaving runners at the corners with nobody out, and Soto, blister and all, has a problem here in the second.
Here's Ron Say, who had a hit off him in Cincinnati at double. Comes up with runners at first and third and nobody out. Strange thing happened here a little while ago. Had nothing to do with baseball. Here's the pitch on the way. Low and outside. we got a call from the White House wanting to contact Senator Percy. They thought that he was headed for the ballpark. So we took the call and assured him at the White House that as soon as he got here, we'd relay the message. Have you returned the call, Senator?
Have returned it yet.
I was afraid maybe somebody declared war.
I just don't want to set a precedent for letting them interfere with my watching the Cubs game. 'Cause I saw Jack Brickhouse downstairs, and he's gonna introduce me tonight at the Veterans Dinner.
Yeah, we mentioned
But he reminded me when I was out here with him with Pittsburgh, it was 8-0. Cubs were losing, and I said, before I leave this ballpark, we're going to be ahead, and we were.
Well, let's hope that you'll see another victory here today. Senator, I wish you'd call the White House and find out what that's all about, though. I'm curious. I returned the call for you because I've never talked to the White House before. Here's the pitch to save. Long drive. If it stays fair, it'll be gone. It's a home run. Yeah, and he's called it a home run. Come on. They're arguing about it now, but he called it without a doubt. Steve Rippley, look at this argument. A 3-run homer. They think it was foul. I just watched the umpire. Whoa, look at Mario Soto. Look, let's just watch that picture now. There was almost confusion on the bases because Say didn't know whether it was fair or foul, but the umpire immediately gave it the fair sign. Now they're in a huddle down there. The 4 umpires are discussing it. Now, I don't see how they could overrule the man who was down the third base line. Their soda's still burning.
The only man who could overrule it would be Bob Engel if he had a better angle, but I believe that Steve Ripley's call will hold up. And Mario Soto was very fortunate he wasn't tossed out of the game because he did bump Ripley at least once, and before he was restrained by Dan Dreesen.
Let's watch it again on the replay now. Here's all we can show you on this. It was a low fastball, and he really hit it hard. Whoa! Now watch it. They're going to reverse the ruling. In the middle of it. They want to know how can anybody reverse the ruling of the third base umpire who was closer to the play than anybody. Look at Zimmer. Look at Don Zimmer. Ripley, of course, he's a rookie umpire. Look at the bleachers. Are they upset? You know, the way we didn't have the best of angles because the ball was hit in that corner. Looked to me like maybe what made it go off at the angle, maybe it hit the foul pole. Let's watch it now. So we're going to put it in slow motion. See what you think. Now, right here, it's still fair. You can't tell whether maybe it hit just barely glanced off the foul pole.
Harry, it looks like a foul ball. It looks like it curves around the foul pole when we slow it down.
Right here, now watch it. Well, if it curved around the foul pole, it would be a fair ball.
No, I meant that it looked like it curved before it got to the thing because it never left the ballpark. So I think Bob Engel, who is a home plate umpire, probably said I had a good look at it. I thought the ball was foul, and the crew chief overrules the rookie umpire at third.
Well, it really makes the umpire at third base look terrible. And if they wanted to make him look bad, they've done it. Because he was down the line watching the ball, and he was the closest man to it. And that is saying the plate umpire, who's at least 100 feet further away from it, apparently was the umpire who made the call. Paul Runge. There's Steve Rippley. We're going to show it to you again. The fact that the ball is still in the ballpark, there's where the fan catches it, would indicate that it was a foul ball.
If it had left the playing field fair, it would have hit against the back screen. And it didn't do that, so even though they're arguing, I think they're arguing because Rippley did call the ball fair.
Well, there's no doubt he called it fair. And that's what Don Zimmer is arguing about.
Well, Harry, you can reverse a call, and as the umpires say on many occasions, it doesn't matter how long you take, you want to get it right. And I believe that they did get it right in this case, even though it goes against Ron Cey and against the Cubs. The runners will return to the bases, and Ron Cey will come back and have another shot at hitting one out.
I would imagine that this game is going to be continued under protest by the Cubs, though.
Well, I don't think you can protest a judgment call, so I don't think it...
Well, whose judgment call are we talking about? The judgment of the third base umpire or the judgment of the home plate umpire? Now, whose jurisdiction is it?
Well, it's still a judgment call at any rate because it's not an infraction of the rules, and you cannot protest a judgment call.
Well, then why don't you let the plate umpire call them all? Why do you have the third base umpire who's that close, who runs down the line with because the jurisdiction of the call is his, otherwise he wouldn't even bother to go down the line.
But he can and has been on many instances overruled, as is the case right here.
Well, what I'm saying is that if you can't protest a judgment call, you certainly can protest the fact that one umpire's judgment says it's fair and the other umpire's judgment, who is not the umpire who is empowered normally to make the call, says that it was a foul ball. The other guy who's usually is empowered to make the call says it's a fair ball. And he was much closer to the play than the other guy. I would protest anyway. I don't care how many times you win a protest anyway.
You're never going to win the protest, so it really doesn't matter. But I guess if it satisfies Jim Frey to do it, they might. We'll have to see what happens. But Ron Cey seems a little bit unconcerned at this point. He's just sitting in the dugout waiting for all the smoke to clear.
Well, I don't know why they delayed the start of the game 15 minutes to allow the crowd to get in. We could have started the game on time, and everybody could have gotten in now during this long delay. Look at the bleacher area. The Cincinnati outfielders are trying to pacify them out there. They don't mind as long as it's hot dog wrappers, but this argument hasn't stopped yet, friends.
Well, the most important part of this argument that the Cubs will lose is that Mario Soto is still standing on the mound getting cold, because he's been out there a good 20 minutes at this point. It can't do him any good. He didn't have much rhythm to begin with. This isn't going to help him any. So perhaps the Cubs will get a break, and I think the bullpen is going to start loosening up for Cincinnati.
Boy, look at Zimmer. He's got just the greatest baseball player's photogenic face for an argument I've ever seen. Old Zimmer's getting his money's worth. And I tell you, maybe another point of the argument might be, why wasn't Soto thrown out of the ballgame for coming in body contact with an umpire?
Well, there now we can agree on something. I feel the same way.
Don't break our record.
Well, he definitely should have been tossed out because he had to be restrained. There was a little bumping and shoving going on. And now let's see. They got somebody warming up in the bullpen, and Vern Rapp has gone out to talk to Soto, and that might be it for Mario. I think what's going to happen, though, he'll probably sit down and perhaps come back in as Ochinko is throwing in the bullpen.
Well, he does have the history of the blisters, and I think he wants to continue. Vern Rapp talking to him. Meanwhile, back on the ranch at third base, here's a little bit of the argument that raged, and you will see Soto furious. Now, he's just entering your picture. All right, look at that. He's not through yet. Dan Dreesen finally pulled him away. They're still in the midst of it. Ruben Amaro's got his arm around Don Zimmer, and Richie Hebner also.
Zim says, let me go, I'm okay. I've said what I had to say. Well, I think this wins it, Harry. I think this is the longest argument by far of the year.
Now the ground crew comes out to clean up the debris which has been hurled onto the field. And Zimmer now is off to the back near the coaching box. They've cooled him off. That's Ruben Amaro talking to him. I wonder if this will be in the Cubs 1984 highlight film. Whoa, what's breaking out now? Look at Jim Frey has been being carried back. There's Mel Hall holding his skipper. It's Larry Boa. Something that the umpire said provoked both Frey and Boa. Something must have been said. They're immediately discussing it there at the moment. I can't say too much about the control of the umpires in this situation at all.
Well, somewhere along the line, they just have to walk away and start this thing, but it appears that that's not what's going to happen. All four umpires have stayed congregated right on the third base bag, and nothing seems to be getting accomplished.
Here's Jim Frey taking his jacket off now. Throws his jacket high in the air. Somebody apparently has been kicked out of the game. Maybe it was Boa. Maybe that's what infuriated him.
Well, I'm sure it was also Jim Frey. I think that's what started Jim off, because if not then, certainly after he tossed his jacket up in the air.
Well, what do you expect? When the third base umpire running down the line to get a good view, and therefore is the closest man to the ball, in a situation where it's always his job to make the decision, calls it fair, and the plate umpire, who maybe still had his mask on, reverses the decision.
Vern Rapp is calling his team off the field. He's got almost everyone off but Eddie Milner. Now he'll motion to him to come on into the dugout and sit down and wait till this thing cools off.
Well, we'll see now. We'll have to count the bodies here in a moment to see who's still going to be with us. Jim Frey now has gone to the dugout. Oh, he is infuriated.
Meanwhile, Dennis Eckersley, who threw 2 perfect innings, is still sitting there. At least he has the opportunity of perhaps going into the locker room, getting a little bit of warmth.
Now here's Vukovic talking to Bob Engel. The plate umpire is Paul Runge. He apparently reversed the decision. Randy Marsh is the umpire at first, Bob Engel at second, and the rookie Steve Rippley is the man who made the original fair ball call, the third base umpire. And here's Don Zimmer, here's Jim Frey and Don Zimmer are back in there again, along with John Vukovich. Now Frey is making some point very coolly. I tell you, the competition with doing these clubs all year. Remember in Cincinnati, Arnie just reminded me that Jim Frey and Dave Parker got into a shouting match at each other. And Parker stands 6'7", Frey about 5'8".
I think the only way Parker's going to be able to get Frey today is if he goes into the locker room to pay him a visit, because I think he will be in that locker room. And the scoreboard still shows the 3 runs. That's going to come down.
Well, now the argument is over. The 4 umpires are now again engaged in serious discussion. And what they're probably saying is, what's the best way for us to get ourselves off the hook?
Well, if
now, go we in for more trouble if we call it fair? Or are we in for more trouble if we say it's foul?
If they reverse it, Harry, there'll be another 20-minute discussion from the Cincinnati side.
Look at the graphics there. Question mark on the score. Joe Carneo came up with that one. The scoreboard has it 3-0. Now there's Jim Frey. Apparently the point he just made in the first calm discussion is one worth meditation on the part of the 4 men in blue. Their reasoning.
Maybe they're saying, Harry, let's get the story straight in case they do protest. We can figure out what went on.
Now that's Bob Engel, apparently, who's the umpire-in-chief. He seemed to be doing all the talking, and he was a second base umpire. He had the worst angle of anybody. There's Jim Frey. Don Zimmer has cooled off now. There you see the Cincinnati Reds. Let's see. Now here comes their manager, Vern Rapp, being called out. Let's see what happens here. No wonder our government has so much trouble. If 4 guys can't even decide whether the ball's fair or foul, how do you expect our Congress to settle some of these profound problems that they seem to be sidestepping all the time?
Well, in a collective bargaining agreement, maybe they'll just say, okay, I'll tell you what, will you accept 2 runs and we'll call it a draw?
Again, it's Bob Engel doing all the talking. So he is the umpire-in-chief. Right to Engel's left. Ruben Amaro and his skipper.
It's kind of an interesting discussion, Harry, because I've never seen an argument that has gone through so many stages. I've never seen them say one manager, you sit back here, we'll go meet with the other manager, because if they have overruled it, it's a pretty easy decision. They start again and it doesn't count. So maybe there is a technicality involved.
Yeah, I think John Vukovich maybe is the guy who brought something up, because he was the one who talked to the 4 umpires and then went back and talked to Frey, and then Frey came out very calmly and coolly and made his point. In the meantime, Ron Say doesn't know whether he has his 8th home run of the year and his 32nd RBI. or not. Apparently, he's more inclined to or not because he's got a bat in his hand. Now, Vern Rapp.
I think the British beat the Argentinians in less time than it's taken the umpires to decide if that home run was fair or foul.
We're going to show you the disputed home run again in case you're joining us late. And if so, where in the devil were you? Why weren't you with us at the beginning anyway? Here it is. This is what the third base umpire, Steve Rippley, ruled was a fair ball. He thought apparently it curved around the pole. But had it done that, it would have probably gone out of the ballpark. Now let's see what they're going to rule. There's Bob Engel talking to Jim Frey. Whoa, look at this. Whoa, who is that charging out? There's a free-for-all now, boy. They come from all over. Mario Soto must have been the one charging out of the dugout. That's Richie Hebner got some licks in. There's Soto. Holy cow. What a rhubarb. Arnie, could we pick up who started sprinting out of the dugout?
Jody Davis looks hurt, Harry.
Jody Davis is hurt. Look at Soto. He's kicked. He wants to throw the bat at the fans. What a... That's his manager pulling him away. Boy, how bad is Jody Davis hurt?
A fan threw a beer at Mario Soto, and that incited him. He grabbed a bat and wanted to go after the fan with a bat.
Yeah, there's Soto coming into the picture. He came charging out of the dugout. That was Zimmer that went down with him. Now here they come from every direction, including the bullpen. Where was Jody Davis? He was hurt. Boy, that could be. While the four umpires were talking things over with Frey, Soto came charging out of the dugout. I wish we could isolate Richie Hebner. He was getting some good licks in. Hey, these same two teams here tomorrow. Need I say more? What? Here's Hebner. This has got to be one of the prize baseball fights of all time. There's Jody Davis, though. Is that his knee he's holding? Let's get Jody. Where is he? He's all right. There he is.
Well, I'd assume that Soto has got to be thrown out of the game at this point. How much can you do before they boot you? And he is in the locker room. I don't think that he's going to continue.
Maybe the fact that he came charging on the field would indicate that the ruling has been a three-run homer. Or why would he be so infuriated otherwise?
Well, he might have been thrown out of the game, and when he realized that, thrown out of the game for the bumping altercation down the third baseline, when he realized that, that's when he came out to have another word
That
with
could
Rippley.
be, yeah.
So now he's got to be out of it for sure, one way or the other, and they had a left-hander, Bob Ochinko, warming up, so he'll be probably put in the game.
Billy Conn must have lost his pants during that fight. Pull him up, Bill. Watch this now. Looks like Zimmer tried to be a peacemaker here. Now watch him. See, he's trying to protect the umpires from the onslaught of Mario Soto.
Well, Golden tried to slow down Soto. When he saw Soto out of the corner of his eye, he tried to tackle him, and Zimmer tried to help, and that's when everything broke loose.
Now let's see what it is. Ochinko quite definitely is the new pitcher. As of now, the Cubs have a 3-run homer already to their credit. Because the base runners aren't out there.
Ochinko will have as long as he wants to warm up, but he was throwing during this entire incident. There you take a look at the embattled Richie Hebner, who was trying to protect Don Zimmer.
Never a dull moment at Wrigley Field, and these same two adversaries will climb into the ring for a 9-round fight or more, starting at 1:20 tomorrow afternoon. And tickets are available. There you see Zimmer and Brian Sandberg. There's Richie Hebner.
Zim looks like he's got a bit of a scratch on his face that he didn't have when the game started, so he got a little souvenir of that fight. Take a look at it on his right cheek.
All right, Ochinko's been given all the time he needs. They're here from Appleton, Wisconsin, from the...
Bob Engel is now coming once again into the Cub dugout to have a word with John Vukovic. And he's disappearing right now, probably going to have a word with Jim Fryer. He's going to talk about a protest perhaps on the telephone.
There you see, you get a good look. There is the umpire, Bob Engel, calling to the press box. They have to announce if the game is being played under protest. The Cardinals got 7 runs in the first inning at Atlanta. Another one in the second inning. But Atlanta got 2 in the first and 4 in the second. And it's 8-6 at the end of 2. Murphy and Chambliss hit home runs.
Now Ruben Amaro is saying something to Bob Engel. Maybe it's an unlisted number.
Who's it? Dallas Green's even on the phone.
He just wants to find out if any more pitchers are hurt.
No, it looks like the home run will not be allowed. Because Say is out there with a bat, which means there'll be runners at first and third. Say will be the batter with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wouldn't it be something after all this if Say walks up there and hits the first pitch out of the ballpark? Rich Bordy, who was in the middle of that fight, rubbing his hand a little bit. He must have. Dennis Eckersley is down in the bullpen now, getting warmed up again.
He's probably saying, boy, what a league. I spent all my career in the American League in 1 day, and look what's happened.
The phone is not working in the dugout. And I haven't been able to contact the press box. Bob Engel is the umpire-in-chief of this crew. Ochinko will inherit a 1 and 2 count. Mario Soto has been kicked out of this ball game, and I don't know who else. We'll have to wait and see. been called by the umpires as merely a foul ball. I'm sure you're going to hear the announcement that the game is being played under protest. Well, everybody was in that fight except Marla Collins. And I'm surprised somebody didn't tackle her. Runners at first and third. And here's Ron Save. Both teams have protested. Both Frey and Soto are out of the game. There's a line drive to the shortstop. On the first pitch save. Hit the ball hard, but right at Foley. Now here's Jody Davis. There's Jody Davis coming up.
That was one of the longest at-bats in history, and it didn't end well as Ron hit the ball hard, and there he's not very happy about the outcome either.
Ochinko's pitch. Swung, and he fouled it out of play.
Bob Ochinko 1-1, 312 earned run average, making his 12th appearance.
What in the world is Cincinnati protesting about? They benefited from the call. One strike to nothing. Strike, a slow curve in there.
Ochinko's a controlled pitcher. He doesn't strike out a lot of hitters. 17 strikeouts in 26 innings with 14 walks.
A little low, fastball. 1-2 the count. 32-minute delay. Maybe that's why the Reds protest. 1-2 the count. Line drive foul down the right field line. Ochinko almost got his fastball by him. This crowd is really in some kind of mood now. Jody Davis looking for a new bat. He cracked it. The peculiarity of this is that the Cincinnati Reds have also protested. You can understand why the Cubs would protest, because the umpire had originally called the Stays ball a 3-run homer. They now reversed their decision. Nevertheless, Cincinnati also protests. Now, they could want it to stay 3-0 in favor of the Cubs, could they? A little high. Boy, just barely two. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
This is when you start thinking about the hit and run, because you've got a double play candidate in Jody Davis. So perhaps Mel will be off with the pitch. Let's keep an eye on first.
Struck him out. That hurt. So the Cubs, instead of leading 3-0, are still 0-0. 2 men out now. Runners at first and third. Larry Boa had 2 hits yesterday. Curve of Chinko's getting it in there. 1 strike to nothing. He started to swing. He tried to stop. He went around. And Ochinko has dampened the crowd's enthusiasm. Fly ball into right field, and it is out of play, foul. Every obvious foul ball, they're yelling fair. Every fair ball, they scream foul, showing their disdain for the 4 officials. At the end of 2.5 innings in Atlanta, the Cardinals 11, Atlanta 6. Popped it up. The shortstop Foley is there to retire the side, and the Cubs didn't get anything. Holy cow. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 2 innings, no score. Back at Wrigley Field, the Lakers have won the first game in the World Series of Basketball, beating the Celtics in Boston, 115-109 today.
Well, the Cincinnati didn't have to worry about the effect of the delay on Mario Soto because by the time the game resumed, he was in the locker room. But the Cubs do have to worry about the effect of the delay on Dennis Eckersley. Before the delay, he threw 2 perfect innings, 6 up, 6 down, 1 strikeout, and was looking exceptionally good. Now we'll just have to see what about 40 minutes does to his pitching motion.
Ochinko came in with runners at first and third and nobody out, and got out of the inning. Here now is Ron Oster. He was very conspicuous in the fisticuffs on the field. Hitting .208 for the season. There's a fastball of it outside. Jimmy Gallios from Miller's Pub, along with his son Tommy, watching the game here today. They not only have already seen some exciting baseball with no score, but saw a pretty good fight. A ball and a strike. Oster, 3 out of 6 in the series. Always seems to hit the Cubs well. There's a little looping liner. Base hit. Oster loops one over Sandberg's head. Here now is Tom Foley.
Well, the Reds obviously have read the scouting report on Dennis Eckersley because they've loaded the lineup with left-handers. 7 left-handers in a row, and now 8 with Ochinko.
Foley batting .274 with 1 home run. Eckersley's pitch. High and outside, ball 1. Foley, apparently he got a whack in the neck with the way he reacted. There goes the runner. He swings and he hits a high pop foul out of play. The hit and run was on. The crowd is unrelenting, and it's despised for the umpire. A ball and a strike. Oster lead. Fly ball, right field. Mel Hall waiting. He's got it. 1 away. And now Ochinko will be the hitter.
Dennis Eckersley has had a history of having trouble holding base runners on first base. Around the American League, they said that the best way to get to Eckersley was to just run as soon as you got on base. But Don Zimmer, who managed Eckersley in Boston, said that Dennis worked very hard on that, and he seems to have improved a little bit.
One on, one out. Real close, he's back.
Eckersley pitches from the extreme first base side of the rubber, which is very unusual for a right-handed pitcher.
The pitch to Ochenko, he's going to butt. Pitch a little bit outside. Ochenko, who worked out in spring training with the Chicago Cubs after being in the American League, originally broke in with San Diego. The crowd boos every umpire's decision now, no matter how obviously right they might be. The ball is bunted to say. He'll take the sure play. Throws to Durham, who was not on the bag, and he tags Ochenko. Two gone, and here's Gary Ritas. Man in scoring position. There's Ron Oster. Ritas due here. The Cubs have stopped them so far in the series 0 for 9, and that makes him doubly dangerous. One ball, no strikes. You know, they're usually, when you have a big brawl like that, and innocent bystanders hurt. Pitch a little low, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes.
Ritas possessed of great speed, third in the National League in stolen bases with 19. Only 2 catchers have thrown him out, Rummer and Carter.
There's the strike call. 2 balls and a strike. We're in the top of the third, no score. He tried to bunt his way on. Eckersley throws. In time, nice play by Durham, who took that throw right off the legs of Ritas. Fine play, and Eckersley gives him an appreciative pat on the posterior.
Eckersley gets to the ball in a hurry, calls off Say. Leon Durham makes a fine put out at first base, tagging the runner. His foot was off the bag, but he got him with the glove.
So we go into the bottom of the third, 0-0.
Where did you get the idea that my chili is poisonous?
Alice, weeknights at 5:30 here on...
Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field. A young man, what's your name?
Wally Altman.
And you caught that foul ball?
Yes, I did. It was fouled by about 5 feet. We just came in. We bought standing room only tickets, and we came in, and the ball came right over my head, and I caught it.
And how do you explain the umpire calling it fair?
I would say from the position that he might have been standing, the ball did look fair from where he was, but where we were standing, it was foul.
All right, thank you for coming up.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right.
Here, can you send the ball for me if I get it?
Yeah. Right there is word line. That's where this young man was standing, where he caught the ball, where you saw that X. There's a high pop fly, foul territory, out of play, and again the crowd starts yelling at the umpire. Eckersley, in his first time at bat.
In 10 years, Harry, he said he hasn't swung a bat in that long. I know he's got to be happy to face Ochenko instead of Soto.
There's the pitch a little outside. No score, but a lot of excitement. There have been a lot of hits, a lot of runs. but not in baseball. The hits have been on each other, and the runs have been back and forth to cause the collisions of bodies. Hey, Eckersley had a good swing. Hostetler is homer with a man on for the Rangers as they lead the White Sox 3-0. There's a pitch a little outside. Ball 4, he walked him. Holy cow, and Eckersley has reached base, batting for the first time in 10 years. I'm autographing this baseball the young man caught. And I'm writing fair or foul with a W. Okay. See you later.
John Vukovic has a word as he hands Dennis Eckersley his jacket. He's going to remind him where second base is. It's 90 feet ahead, Dennis. I know you haven't been out there, but they're still in the same places.
All right, here we go. He was going to bunt. The pitch was low. Ochinko came in and got out of the jam with runners at first and third and nobody out in the second. Replacing Mario Soto, who had been kicked out of the ball game along with manager Jim Frey. Ball 2 is outside. 2 balls, no strike.
Now Stan Williams is going to come out to have a word with Bob Ochinko. Ochinko has had some problems with his control this year. He didn't show it last inning, but this inning it's catching up with him.
Arnie Harris doesn't take the networks long to realize something big is happening. Each one of the networks has contacted the WGN Channel 9 through Arnie Harris to make sure that they have access to the highlights of the unfriendly little discussion at Wrigley Field involving 50 players and 4 umpires. 2 balls, no strike. Ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. There's a strike call, and now let's see what Dernier is going to do. 3 balls and a strike. Eckersley, the runner at first base, swings and he fouls it out of play. Now the count is full. I imagine Don Zimmer is the acting manager of the Cubs since the ejection of manager Jim Frey. 3-2 pitch. There goes the runner. Bouncing ball. He's going to advance him all right. Foley throws to first in time. But Eckersley, running with the pitch, gets in the scoring position. Sandberg and Matthews will have a shot at driving in the run. Ochinko's pitch. Curve in there, a strike call. Bouncing ball, foul. Zimmer makes the stab. 0-2 the count. Gary Matthews on deck. A sellout crowd here. Right back to the pitcher. He knocks it down, throws the first for the out. Ochinko grabbed that one in self-defense.
Good base running on the part of Dennis Eckersley, who doesn't advance. Ochinko made a pretty good play, keeping that ball in front of him and able to throw out Sandberg.
Here's Gary Matthews. He fanned in the first inning against Soto. One thing was proven here today, in case there's any doubt about it before, and that is that Mario Soto has a quick fuse. He was an infuriated young man. Strike again. Ochinko's doing it with a lot of curveball. And our hitters seem to be mesmerized by it. Fastball is low. 1-2 the count. No score, bottom of the third. Fouled out of play, off to the right. In the upper deck on the first base side.
He's got him set up for that curveball. He's used it very well away from the right-hand hitters. So let's see what Ochinko decides to do. It's been a good pitch for him today. It's breaking sharply, and he throws it off speed. It works as a changeup as well as a breaking pitch.
Fastball. Again, he fouls it back and out of play. Carmelo Martinez hit a homer with a man on, his 5th of the year. And San Diego's leading the Phillies 4-0 in the bottom of the 8th at Philadelphia. Outside, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Matthews trying to get hold of one. Ground ball to the shortstop. He's got it. Throws in time to retire the side. Foley plays that shortstop very well. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. Milo will be joining Steve in just a moment. This is Harry Caray at Wrigley Field before a capacity crowd at the end of 3. A very exciting afternoon, but there is no score.
This portion of Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Pepsi-Cola General Bottlers. Pepsi, the choice of a new generation. Going into the 4th inning in a scoreless game, welcome to our audience in the middle innings, and that would include Jim Frey and Mario Soto, I imagine, because anybody who joined us late, we had a full-blown Donnybrook here today.
Not only that, Milo, but it really disturbed Dennis Eckersley a little bit. I think that he's not throwing the ball quite as well. He had outstanding stuff in the first 2 innings. They didn't have to worry about how Soto was throwing the ball because he was taking a shower when it was his turn in the 2nd inning.
Well, Eckersley is back out there now. He did go down and warm up a bit when Ochinko, their new pitcher, came in. I suppose he had to really treat it as though it had been a rain delay.
Well, it was 32 minutes, which is what some rain delays are. He gave up a base hit last inning, but got out of it. So hopefully that delay will not affect him. He has made a smooth transition to this point. He's keeping the ball down, throwing all of his pitches, and showing what he has shown most of his career, very good control.
All right, his first pitch to Milner. High fly ball right center. Lots of time for... Now the wind blowing it back in, and Denier has to take charge. I think Hall thought for a moment that maybe he was going to have to come across a little more, but that wind blowing in played some tricks with that one.
Well, the wind looks to be about 15 to 18 miles an hour blowing straight in, and it's playing havoc with the fly ball. Cincinnati had a problem in left center field in the 1st inning. And now you see Bob Dernier, who is the captain in the outfield, pulling it in.
Dan Driessen with a big swing. Montreal beat San Francisco 6-2. Expos 6, Giants 2. That game up in Montreal. That's a strike, and he's in a hole 0-2. And Eckersley showed you that he didn't forget everything he hadn't been using. He got a walk in his first big league at bat, knew how to run the bases with a runner going on a 3-2.
And he also knows the signs.
Dennis Eckersley, intense to be sure. Down the left side, that'll be trouble for the Sarge. It'll bounce down into the corner. He's going to have to get down and get it. It won't come out for him. And Dreesen has doubled into the left field corner. I don't have to tell you what the crowd is yelling.
The 9th double of the year for Dan Dreesen, who takes that tailing fastball down the line in left field. And Leon Durham, watch him at the tail end of your picture. For all you first basemen, when you're out of the play, you trail the runner. Durham at second base, and there was almost a play on Dreesen, who has strayed a little bit past the bag.
All right, now with the runner at second, Dreesen, and that is the second hit for the visiting Reds. The Cubs have one hit. Parker, who bounced to Durham at first the last time up, he is 2 for 9 in the series. 1 ball and no strikes. They may not have had an argument to match ours in Atlanta today, but they've had everything else. 11-6 after 3.5. That's the Cardinals leading Atlanta. Cardinals got 7 in the first for Andahar. You figure you could take that to the bank. Foul ball up above us. But an inning and a half later, it was 8-6. There's Don Zimmer. Hey, he stood a little close to the razor, didn't he?
Looks like a Heidelberg dueling scar that he received in that Donnybrook that went on in the second inning.
You don't suppose that came from a spike, do you?
Thought it was a scratch, perhaps Soto's fingernail or something along those lines.
Smash to Durham. Look at him pick it. Go to first. Parker out, and on the play, Dreesen moves over to third. I tell you, day after day, Durham just shows you now that he's back at home at first base.
The second straight first baseman unassisted put out against Dave Parker, but this one is a rocket. The Bull keeps it in front of him. He's laughing. There you see him. He's got it, and on the play, Dan Dreesen moves to third base.
Here is Brad Golden, bounced to second his first time up. Lined on the right side, that'll get the first run home. Paul lets it go under him to the big wagon gate. Golden may stretch out those stubby legs and try for 3, and he's in there. He's probably out of gas. It's his 4th run batted into the series.
Golden has been a thorn in the side of the Cubs as he drives this ball down the right field line. Mel Hall has some trouble with it. It gets by him. And when it does, Golden, who doesn't run this far too often, gets all the way into third, his first triple of the year. He's probably one of the very few of his career.
So the Reds are on the board. And we're going to pause quickly here for station identification.
This is WGN Television, Chicago, America's #1 sports station.
Krenchicki flied to center in the second inning. Got another runner at third here. A run in. A ball, and it's 1-0.
Eckersley is starting to come up a little bit now. The ball to Golden was up, and the ball to Krenchicki was up.
Ball 2.
You see Jody with the glove motioning to him to concentrate and keep the ball down.
Texas has the White Sox down 3-0 after 2.5. Tapped it foul by Tommy Helms, the old second sacker. Was Rookie of the Year when he broke in with the Reds. He was a member of that group that came up with Rose and all those great youngsters through their farm system. 2 balls and a strike. Wayne Krenchicki. That should be easy. Out behind second. Boa's there. Makes the play. Side retired. But the Reds get on the board first. Getting a run on 2 hits, a double and a triple. No errors and a man left at third. Our ball game in the middle of the 4th. Reds 1, Cubs nothing.
When it comes to deals, my eyes out there looking, my ears out there listening, my nose is out there smelling, and your tail is out there wagging.
Weeknights at 6:30 here.
Into the bottom of the fourth with a 1-0 lead for the Reds. Milo Hamilton and Steve Stone with you here on Cubs baseball. All kinds and shapes. Arnie's gang will have a field day with hats here today. Here is Durham. He walked in the second inning. They're watching up in Anativek Pass in Alaska. 200 Cub fans. We hear from everywhere. A ball, and it's 1-0. Ochinko now working in his third inning. He came on after the big Donnybrook. That's a strike, and it's 1-1. Diaz now pitching for Los Angeles in the seventh with 2 on and 1 out. That game at New York. Foul down here below us.
Ochinko has made only 11 appearances before this one today, and he's averaging only a little over 2 innings per appearance, so you wonder how long he can go here.
2 balls, 2 strikes to the Bull, trying to start something in the fourth. Leon's been limited to 2 for 7 in this series. Hall on deck, then it'll be Say. Tomorrow, Scott Sanderson's going to try it. Russo will pitch for the Reds.
I talked to Scott before the game. He said he felt pretty good. It was muscular, no skeletal problems, and he feels he can give a good effort tomorrow.
2-2. Threw it in the dirt. Bull leaned out over, but let it go by. Hey, it is floppy hat day. All right, we're due the payoff. Bobble picked up by Krenchecki, throws and got him. So Krenchecki kept it in front of him, where all he had to do was pick it up. Then the true throw gets Durham to start the Cub fourth.
Leon has a little bit of a sore hamstring, and that slowed him down going down the line. So Krenchecki had some time to drop the ball, pick it up, and throw him out.
Mel Hall had a base hit in the second inning. So far, that is the only Cub hit. Fouled off to the left. The Cubs, who had been hitting everybody and didn't make any difference who it was, suddenly here find with the Reds in town that hits are hard to come by. Yesterday got 12, but came up short. 0-2.
One of the few left-handers that Mel Hall has been allowed to face this year. He's been platooned, and usually when the left-hander comes in, Keith Moreland comes in right along with him.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Old friend of the Cubs and folks at WGN, Joe Megan, advises that Patrick J. Doyle, president of McDade and Company, will be honored as Man of the Year by Back of the Yards Council. And Mel is gone, and he doesn't like that call any better than he liked the one they reversed on Say. That is the second strikeout for Ochinko and third in the game against the Cubs.
John Franco loosening up in the bullpen as Ochinko has been extended a little longer than normal. And the Cubs made a deal today. They brought up Porfi Altamirano from Iowa and optioned Don Schulze back to the same club.
I wonder if they had a round-trip ticket to begin with. That was a fast up and down.
I don't think Don is quite ready yet. They want him to get a little more seasoning, work on his breaking pitches and his control a little bit.
A ball to the Penguin, 2-0. At Back of the Yards Council will be June 5th at the Martinique. And where he was honored for his 5,000th, Jack Brickhouse is the dinner chairman of that one. 2 balls and a strike. Two balls and 1 strike. Say lined out to short in the second after the home run reversal call. It was only 32 minutes later, and that's 2-2.
Ochinko's best year was 10-13 with San Diego. That's his original club. He was acquired from Pittsburgh on waivers in November.
2-2. Called it a ball, full count. After 7 innings at New York, Dodgers 3, Mets 2. Dodgers are trying to stop a skid. Do a payoff now. High fly ball right field. Parker over. Still looking because the wind's blowing it away from him. Makes the catch. 3 up and 3 down. Ochenko's retired the last 6 in a row. We have played 4 innings. 1-0 Cincinnati. We go to the 5th. Oster, who had 1 of the 3 hits, he led off the 3rd with a base hit. Eckersley working here, and there's a high fly down the left side. Matthews has to go over, but that'll bend back up in there. And the crowd letting third base umpire Rippley know that everything is not fair and everything is not foul. And Ripley's not sure which is which. Believe it or not, Rippley.
Ron Oster's had some problems. He is wearing a brace on his knee where he stretched some ligament.
Right field for Hall. Mel makes the catch on Oster, and it's 1 down. We got people here from Clinton, Iowa, Freeport, Illinois, another group from the Navy at Great Lakes, Streeter, Illinois, with the VFW post. And what about this big group from Sonneman, Illinois? Who do you suppose got that group together? Why, Freddie Imke, who do you think? I don't care if he's here. I just want him to bring his charming wife and lovely daughter. I see they've recovered from their sunburns from the Mizona and Mesa.
Hardly.
That's a strike, puts him in a hole 0-2. Foley lined to right in the 3rd inning.
Stan Williams, the pitching coach, described Foley as a man with average ability at shortstop, but unusually good hands. Anything he can get, he'll get over to first base in time.
And he gets rid of the ball in a hurry, doesn't he? Just struck him out. That is the 2nd strikeout recorded by Eckersley. They'll bring up Ochenko, who sacrificed the last time up. San Diego shut out Philadelphia at Philly. That's not an easy trick. Philly's only got 4 hits in that game. San Diego 4, Philadelphia nothing, a final. Rhino's there. Oh, it didn't give him much of a bounce at the end, but he stayed with it. Good reaction. That ball was bouncing, then it became a grass hugger. So 3 up and 3 down for Eckersley in the 5th. We are halfway through this game. Reds 1 run, 3 hits. The Cubs are scoreless with just 1 hit.
Alice, weeknights at 5:30 here on Channel 9.
As we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, Cubs will be sending up Jody Davis, Larry Boa, and Dennis Eckersley due up 3rd in the inning. It's only a 1-0 game. Ochenko is still out there, but they've got Franco throwing again already in the bullpen.
They're concerned a little bit at the length of the appearance of Bob Ochenko. And Jim Frey and the Cubs are pleased with the performance of Dennis Eckersley thus far. He's completed 2 games this year, so he can go the distance. But he's a guy that Jim Frey said should consistently give you that good 6, 7, 8 inning performance. He feels that suddenly we have the makings of a very good starting rotation, and you've got to like what you've seen of Dennis Eckersley to this point.
And Dick Ruthven came out to the park today. Probably another few days, begin some therapeutic treatment, start rebuilding. Says they couldn't have treated him better. Strike to Jody, 1-1. Jody in the 2nd inning struck out swinging. A ball and a strike. Cubs have been limited to 1 hit. Hall had a single in the 2nd inning. Ochenko now has worked 3 complete innings. fouled way back to the right in the upper deck.
The Cubs were given a scare during that altercation because Jody Davis wound up on the ground. Either somebody stepped on him or he looks like he might have twisted his ankle or knee, but in any case, he was in some pain. But fortunately, he came away with it with nothing more than bruised feelings, perhaps.
Well, it was bad enough that they had to get Tony Garofalo out there to see. Hit that with one hand. That's into center. Milner camping. Jody's out, one down in the bottom of the fifth inning. Now, coming into this game, the Cubs have lost the first two games in this series. Shut out on Friday. Came from behind to go in front yesterday, only to give it away in the ninth. So their backs are against the wall here. Here is Boa. Finish up the series in the homestand tomorrow. Then a rough, tough road trip, and a lot of it on AstroTurf. 2 games in Atlanta, then on the carpet to Philly, Montreal, and St. Louis. 2-week trip. A strike to Boa. He popped to the shortstop in the second inning.
Eckersley is going to hit. There's nobody in the bullpen, and Dennis is in the on-deck circle.
Strike 2. Well, I think a lot of the thinking goes into that, just something you talked about. Ochenko may not be around long, and their bullpen is not known for being too good. He probably figures, hey, we can get Dennis a run or two. Third baseman going to charge, throw, and got him. Boy, what a play by Krenchicki, and a great stretch on the other end by Dreesen.
You've got to take this ball on the short hop and get rid of it. And that's exactly what Wayne Krenchicki does. Gets it over there, nipping Boa at first base. A great play from a guy who's only started one other ball game this year. So he doesn't get a lot of work, but it's that glove that's kept him around the major leagues this long.
Here, Dennis Eckersley walked in the third inning. Tapped it foul. Sally and Norm Silverman of Buffalo Grove, Gene and John Stearns, Cub fans out in Mesa, Arizona. Bill and Mary Johnson in Mesa, Arizona. They watch all of our games out there on the cable. There's a high bouncer. Great big hop. Shortstop. Foley throws out Eckersley, and it's a 3-up, 3-down inning, and that's 9 in a row retired by Ochenko since he walked Eckersley back in the third inning. We played through 5. 1-0 Reds. Game moving to the 6th inning. Dennis Eckersley in his Cub and National League debut. He's trailing 1-0 at the moment, and he'll be looking at the top of their order. Milo Hamilton and Steve Stone, flanked from the booth by Jack Rosenberg and Joe Cornell. Arnie Harris and the crew with the excellent coverage as always. And remember, we'll be with you tomorrow at 1 o'clock with the leadoff.
Last series was followed on Tuesday night. Steve Stroud 5-3 against Nashville for the Reds, 3-1.
Cub fan John Cohan watching and celebrating a birthday today. Here's Ritas 0 for 2. They've done a job with him in this series, 0 for 10. And the year he's been having, that's holding him down pretty good.
Great play by Eckersley on a Ritas bunt the last time up.
That's a strike, and a great play on the other end because that ball coming right into the runner, and Durham just reached right in there and came out of there with it, too. Boy, you hold your breath when that kind of a play takes place. There's a liner, fair. Headed down, won't get to the corner. Matthews will get over. He'll challenge him, and he'll make it in with a double. So, after going 0 for 10, Ritas finally scratches in the series.
Double number 6, and Eckersley tipped this changeup off. He slowed down his motion. Ritas double clutched, but still hit the ball hard in the left field. No chance of getting him at second base. He's got exceptional speed. The Sarge gets it in a hurry, but there's not even a play at second.
Now Milner, the batter, he's 0 for 2. He's flied to left and flied to center. Bunts it foul. So Ritas at second with a double. He had a 9-game hitting streak stopped here Friday, but now picks up and has hit safely in 10 of his last 12. Milner called upon to bunt on that first pitch. Got good speed at second in Ritas. Dreesen and Parker and Golden Krenchecki and Oster and Foley, they all bat from the left side. And the right-hander Eckersley ready. Smashed on the ground to Sandberg. So Milner moves him over 90 feet. And a potential second run for the Reds is 90 feet away. Joe Sparks used to be with the White Sox. Now their third base coach.
Infield is going to come in at all four positions. The way the attack has been today, you don't want to give this second run to the Reds, so they'll try to cut it off.
Dreesen had a double in the fourth and scored their run. He's 1 for 2 today. Ball one. Had a good series, 4 for 8, and driven in a couple. Janesville, Wisconsin, Morrison, Illinois, and Kewanee, Illinois among the groups. Here's the setup in case he would be trying to squeeze him in, but nothing doing there, and he had no action as far as something coming, and the runner, of course, was only up the line about 4 steps. But with Vern Rapp, you got to be ready for it.
Dreesen doesn't strike out much, only 10 times all year.
3-0. Jody held it there for a while. But Runge had already called it. Jody was just trying to make a point. 3 balls, no strikes. Reedus up the line, 7-8 steps at third. Check swing, fly ball left. Now with Reedus on third, he'll be coming. The throw by Matthews is going to be late. Sacrifice fly RBI off the bat of Dreesen.
RBI number 17, and Dreesen doesn't even swing at this ball. There you can see him trying to hold up on the high fastball, but it carries far enough. Matthews makes a pretty good throw, but Reedus just has too much speed. Run number 2 for the Reds.
That'll bring up Parker. He's bounced out twice to Durham. Parker 2 for 10 in the series, and he bats here with nobody on and 2 gone. Eckersley has fallen behind now by 2. Working in the 6th. Big rip. Well, with a communique signed both by Judy Salikas of Northwestern Memorial and Mary Beth Hughes of the Cubs, you know what's coming. When we get home, we're going to have a Cubs care benefit. That'll be here at Wrigley Field this year on the 18th of June. Have room for a lot of folks when you got to hold it at Wrigley Field. Strike 2. For more information on the Cubs care benefit, call Northwestern Memorial Hospital at 649-2033 or 2034. 0-2 pitch. Ball 1 and 2. Those numbers at Northwestern Memorial to inquire about tickets for the Cubs care benefit, 649-2033 or 2034. Or you can call the Cubs at 281-5050. Foul down the right side. Here is a flash from Boston. Bill Buckner has hit his first homer of the year. He hit it in the 4th with a man on. Boston leads Kansas City 4-0 at the end of an inning. That score couldn't have been right. Boston already had 2 runs earlier. Into the dirt, and he goes full. The inning, Mike Smithson has just been removed from the game after being struck in the head by a line drive by Jim Gantner. He was able to walk off the field under his own power. That's a fair ball. It just went over the edge of the bag. It caroms out to Hall, and Parker has doubled with 2 out. That was right close to the edge of the bag.
Umpire Randy Marsh calls it fair. Parker drives it down the first baseline. No chance for the bull. You see Marsh pointing toward the field. And the 10th double of the year for Dave Parker.
And with that, With Parker at second, we've got a powwow on the mound. Golden's due up, but in the meantime, Connors and Jody Davis are talking to Dennis Eckersley.
Well, they've been trying to jam Brad Golden here this series, and Golden seems to have a pretty quick bat inside. He's done some damage going that way, so perhaps keeping the ball away and down is the best bet.
Here's a final. Toronto wins again. They beat Cleveland 6-1. Leal the winner, 5-0. Sutcliffe the loser, 3-4. Bell hit a homer in the 5th one on, his 5th. High fly ball, right field. Hall backs up. Hall under. Side retired. They get a run on 2 hits. Dreesen's sacrifice fly got Reedus home, who would open the inning with a double. No errors and 1 man left. So the Cubs now have some more work to do. They'll come to bat in the 6th, trailing 2-0. New pitcher for the Reds is John Franco. We'll check his stats here in a moment as Dernier is ready to look at Franco's first pitch. Shows bunt, takes it low.
Franco, used mostly in short relief, is in middle relief today. 2-0, 281 earned run average, making his 14th appearance. Ochinko was brilliant. 4 innings, no hits.
He really did a job for him. And he inherited a mess because he came in after a 32-minute delay when Soto had been ejected. He inherited a 1st and 3rd situation. Another ball, and it's ball 3.
Franco can get wild. 15 bases on balls in 16 innings.
Ball 4. So let's see if Bobby Dernier, by coaxing a walk out of Franco, can start something here. First walk by Franco, 3rd walk to the Cubs in the game. Going back to what Ochinko did when he inherited that 1st and 3rd situation after the long Donnybrook 31-minute argument. He got Sada line to short, struck out Jody, and got Boa to pop up. Into the dirt, a ball, and the young left-hander has come in wild.
When you walk a man an inning, there's something wrong in short relief. And it's amazing that his earned run average is at 281. Because giving up 16 hits in 16 innings, along with 15 bases on balls, that's 31 base runners, almost 2 an inning. So he's getting some people out, but you've got to be patient with him. Make him throw strikes. Don't help him out at all. Don't swing at bad pitches. Let's see if Rhino takes one here as Stan Williams has a word with Franco.
Rhino has gone 0 for 2 today and been limited to 1 in 11 in this series. And it's dropped him down under 320. Larry Parrish just doubled the Texas lead over the White Sox with a 3-run homer. Texas now leads the White Sox 6-0. Runner going. Throw down will be late. And another stolen base for Bobby Dernier. And it wasn't even close.
Franco didn't even look at Dernier, and he takes advantage. He makes it easily. Golden with a good throw to second base, and no chance to get Dernier. There you see it again. Perfect execution on the part of the catcher, but you can put this one in your pocket.
16 out of 24 for Bobby now in the stolen base department, and Bill Scherer, lanky left-hander, going to work in their pen, and that's a strike to Rhino, and it's 1-2. Sandberg in the first inning sent a high fly ball to left center. Their left fielder and center fielder collided and dropped the ball. That's a ball. And they charged an error to Milner. But you got to give Milner credit. After the collision, he picked the ball and from fairly deep left center threw a strike to third and got Sandberg at third base. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Rhino going to make him wait a moment. Franco, their third pitcher. Soto started. Ochinko and now Franco. 3 balls, 2 strikes. When's the last time you were in a game when 3 pitchers were in a game that all ended with O?
I don't think I've ever seen one of that.
There's probably no answer to that either. 3 balls, 2 strikes. High pop foul over to the left. The wind will blow it. And the spin on it, of course, will take it way back up above the second aisle, and it's still 3-2.
John Franco was a member of the Los Angeles Dodgers. He came over along with Brett Wise for Rafael Landis-Stoy May of last year. He started his pro career in 1981 at Vero Beach.
Runner at second, nobody out. Payoff to Sandberg. Lined out into left field. Well hit, and it'll be off the wall. Rolling back toward the infield. Score is 2-1, and as the ball rolled back, Rhino took a big turn at second, now goes back. It's a double and a run batted in, and the Cubs have cut it in half.
This ball comes close to going out of the ballpark. Dernier has to wait and see if it's pulled down. It's not. But there's no way that Sandberg is going to challenge Milner again, even though he doesn't come up with it. He realizes there's nobody out. He wisely stays at second base, and now it's Matthews' turn to try to get him over to third.
Gary Matthews 0 for 2 today. Speed at second in the person of Sandberg. Big cut. Knocked the air out of the place. Strike one. Matthews, with his 0 for 2 today, has dropped under 290 again. He's at 288. And against the Reds in this series, the Sarge has only had 1 for 10. He's overdue. 1 ball, 1 strike. Reds are leading 2-1. They've out-hit the Cubs 5-2. Durham due up next. Took a high one, and it's 2 balls and a strike. What a weekend here. Another big crowd. Might be standing room only the way it looks when you look around up in the upper deck. Here's the 2-1. Almost, but he laid off in time. 3 balls and a strike. All right, we'll find out here if the Sarge is a cripple shooter. Sandberg at second. His double got Dernier home. 3-1. Smashed up the middle, base hit. Here comes Sandberg. We're going to have a brand new game.
RBI number 21 for Matthews, who almost takes Franco's foot off. The ball skips right over the mound. Sandberg scores easily. That looks like it's going to be all for Franco. And manager Vern Rapp, I don't think, likes what he's seen of his smallish left-hander today. He's got Scher all ready to go. He's going to come into the game. That's going to be it.
And Scher yesterday, of course, picked up the win. He picked up the gift, as it were. So Franco's going to be gone, and they're going to bring on their 4th pitcher of the afternoon.
Scher last year appeared in 73 games to lead the team. He got all the work in the bullpen for the Reds. He had some problems in spring training. He came up with a terrible strain of the flu, lost a lot of weight, and as you can see, he can't really afford that. Was very weak in the early portions of this year. And this season, Scher is 1-0, 564 earned run average, appearing in his 17th game. 22 1/3 innings, 32 hits, 14 strikeouts, only 8 bases on balls, and Vern Rapp had a word with Paul Runge. But the score stands at 2-2. Scher will have a runner at first base, nobody out. He'll be facing Leon Durham. And Bill Scher is 6'4", 170 pounds. That looked like it might be a little generous at this point. He's not a power pitcher. He keeps the ball down, a good sinker. He gets a lot of ground balls when he's right. Very tough on left-hand hitters because he has a good breaking ball. Scher is from Tonawanda, New York, now makes his home in Cincinnati, Ohio.
All right, he's tuning it up. We've got a brand new game. We've got a runner at first. There's nobody out. And you got the big war club coming up with Durham. He's the leading RBI man, then Hall, and then Say. Durham today has walked, and he's bounced to third. Remember, tomorrow when we wrap up the series in the homestand, you got Scott Sanderson ready to go. And let's hope that he is ready to go. A strike to the Bull.
Mel Hall on deck. This is the spot that Keith Moreland usually will pinch hit for Mel.
A let up in there. And he's in front of the Bull, 2 strikes. Ottawa, Illinois. Fort Sheridan, Midlothian, Elgin, Walnut, Illinois, Des Plaines. Fort Wayne, Indiana with a big group. Yes, indeed. The Cubs have caught the fancy of the Midwest, and they're in here from all over today. No balls, 2 strikes. Runner going. Strikeout, throw down, safe. Ball goes into center. Matthews will get up and come over to third. The go-ahead run now is only 90 feet away. Good base running by Matthews.
Leon swung as an afterthought. It looks like even with 2 strikes, he was trying to protect Matthews, who's got second base stolen easily. The ball's away, and Golden, as has been his practice over the past few games against us, throws the ball in the dirt. Matthews picked it up right away and alertly made it to third base. This ball hits the grass. That's what took it over the head of Foley. And now Keith Moreland does come in to pinch hit for Mel Hall.
Moreland announced as the pinch hitter. Zonk hitting .262 with 1 homer and 8 runs batted in. Wondering something about the ward down in our clubhouse. Stoddard is not as bad as they feared yesterday. Smitty is better. They could pitch in Atlanta. They don't want to pitch him here tomorrow if they don't have to, and I don't think they will. Steve Lake is much better than they figured he would be with the hepatitis bout. There's a drive out into right center. It will be caught by Parker, but it'll also get Matthews home, and the Cubs have their first lead of the day, 3-2.
RBI number 9 for the Redhead, and Dave Parker makes a good play, but he cannot throw Gary Matthews out at home. Matthews, watching the play in front of him all the way, scores the go-ahead run.
The Penguin. He's lined to short and he's flying to right. Earlier today, with a swing of Say's bat, we thought we had 3 runs then. That was later reversed. And obviously, on a holiday weekend, some of you joining us late, it precipitated one of the biggest Donnybrook arguments you ever saw in your life. There's a strike to Say. Say 0 for 2 today and 2 for 10 in this series. Just missed a home run late in the game yesterday. Ended up with an RBI double. Strike 2. 2 outs, 3 runs in, and the Cubs have taken a 1-run lead. Scherer, their 4th pitcher, following Soto, Ochenko, and Franco. Lined into center base hit on an 0-2 pitch. Scherer, you talk about making a mistake on an 0-2. He clearly made a mistake.
He got the ball up, and Say, still probably frustrated from that first time at bat in the 2nd inning, takes advantage with a base hit to center.
Here's Jody Davis. Jody has struck out and flied to center. The Los Angeles Dodgers finally beat the Mets. They beat them 3-2. High chopper, third baseman backs up. Here go the short route to force Say, and the side has been retired. But the Cubs have an inning, and they've climbed out on top. 3 runs, 3 hits, a walk, stolen base, and a throwing error on the catcher. And 1 man left. Through 6 innings, it's turned around. The Cubs are in front of Cincinnati, 3-2.
Harry Caray and Steve Stone as we go now into the top of the 7th. The Cubs are out in front, 3-2.
The Reds
Keith Moreland now playing right field.
The Reds have their bullpen busy in case they get down to Scherer's spot.
Total in the house, 39,123.
39,123 here today. The biggest crowd of the year at Wrigley Field.
1984 season. The previous
this year. Here's Krenchicki, the first pitch swung on a ground ball foul outside first base.
There's a guy in front of the catcher to protect him, but they put a guy out there who couldn't field. And whoever was catching gets hit right in the back with the ball.
And good-naturedly, he waves at his protector.
It's Bruce Kim, who's the bullpen coach.
1 strike to nothing. 3-2 Eckersley with the lead for the first time. Konchicki takes the pitch high and outside. A ball and a strike. 3-2 Cubs. Strike on the outside corner. The Phillies were beaten. The Cubs can regain their 2-game lead with a victory. Fly ball should be caught. Gary Matthews, the Sarge, has got it. 1 out. Here's Ron Oster. Dennis Eckersley, hoping to go 9. The Cubs badly in need of somebody who can do that. Here's the pitcher on the way. Oster lifts a high pop foul out of play.
Well, Harry, this is your biggest audience of the year for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, so you have to be very, very good today.
I'd better be on key, huh? You know what I say about tea? The only tea I know anything about is whiskey. With apologies to Budweiser there. 1 strike and nothing. Line drive right at Sandberg. 2 up, 2 down. And that'll bring up Foley. Tom Foley, the shortstop. 2 out, nobody on. 3-2, the Cubs are leading. Texas is murdering the White Sox again. 7-0 at the end of 5. Here's a pitch foul back to the screen. Didn't they beat them 11-0 the other night? Friday night, yeah, that's right. 2 men are out. Nobody on. Foley's 0 for 2 today. Off speed, a little bit low and outside. A ball and a strike. We're in the 7th. Fly ball, short right field. Moreland's there. He should get it, and he does. 1, 2, 3. Nothing across. We go into the bottom of the 7th. The score. Cubs 3, Reds 2. Those umpires hear it. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ground. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back or it's rude. Listen to the hand for Dennis Eckersley. Larry Boa just popped out to Milner on the first pitch. Eckersley getting a big reception from this crowd. 1 out, nobody on, bottom of the 7th. 3-2 in favor of the Cubs. Hey, he swings that bat like he's accustomed to it, yet he hasn't batted in 10 years. Here's Larry Boa's pop fly to Milner on the first pitch of this inning, so you will not have missed anything. 1 out. 0-2 the count on Dennis Eckersley. A handsome young man, only 29 years old, although he's in his 10th year in the Major League. So that made him all of 19 when he First came up. Curveball inside. Vance Law homered for the White Sox. Hey, struck him out. So Texas leads 7-1. There's Bobby Dernier. 2 men are out. Dernier started at 3-run 6 with a base on ball. Stole second, scored on Sandberg's double off the left center field wall. Matthews tied it up with a single to center, and then Moreland's sacrifice fly coming to the game as a pinch hitter for Mel Hall put the Cubs into the 3-2 lead, which they hold at the moment. 2 men out, nobody on. Scherr's pitch. Fastball a little bit low. That Franco, John Franco, in 2 successive days now, he's been brought in. There's a ball bunted, going to be a tough play. They're going to get him. Boy, Krenchicki, another fine play. Pouncing on that bunt and firing to first base.
Sure has no chance, and Krenchicki, who's done a great job with the glove, makes one more. A short hop and fires to first.
So it's 1-2-3, nothing across. At the end of 7, the story now is to hold them. Cubs 3, Reds 2. Harry Caray at Wrigley Field. This is Dave Concepcion, the veteran shortstop, now third baseman. Here's the pitch, and it's in there for a strike call. Concepcion is batting for Bill Scherr, the pitcher. Concepcion defies all superstition with that number 13. There's a fly ball that Dernier will catch. 1 out.
Only 5 base hits for Cincinnati as Dennis Eckersley has not walked a man here today. He struck out 2, but his control has been exceptional, getting ahead of most of the hitters and throwing all of his pitches over the plate.
1 out, nobody on, and here's Gary Reedus. He doubled in the 6th. It marked his first hit of the series. He's 1 out of 11. Swings, and he misses. We're in the 8th with 1 out. The Cubs are leading 3-2. Boy, these 2 teams really battle each other. Come on out and see them tomorrow afternoon, a 1:20 game. Hey, made them look sick on that. 0-2 is the count.
And Jody keeps pointing low. He wants the slider down, and he wants it outer portion of the plate. Watch and see if Jody motions again, trying to implore Eckersley to keep the breaking ball away.
Whoa, they thought that should have been strike 3. Jody was ready to throw the ball around the horn. The Cardinals now lead Atlanta 11-8 at the end of 7. 1-2 the count. Fouled at bat. Boy, what live sports editor Jack Rosenberg wouldn't give for hair like that. He struck him out. Reedus goes down swinging. What a ball game this Eckersley has pitched. And he has had to pitch it. The Cubs are behind 1-0, then 2-0. After originally thinking they were ahead 3-0. But that became the phantom home run, because they reversed the decision and called it a foul ball. And apparently rightly so. Here's Milner. A sinker a little bit low. 1 ball, no strikes.
Eckersley still popping the ball, even though that one didn't have good location. He still had a lot of steam on the ball, popping Jody Davis's glove.
2 men are out, nobody on. High drive, look out, deep right field, way back. It might be out of here. There it is, a home run. Milner ties it up for the Reds with his second home run of the year. Looked like something up high.
Jody wanted the ball down and away, but he got it up into the inside portion of the plate. There you see Jody's glove, but this one is up and in, and Milner, his first home run since opening day this year.
The ball apparently... Whoa, look at the fan out there. The ball came back out onto the playing field, and Keith Moreland tossed it back into the stand. Here's Andreessen, good hitter. Strike. Tried to check his swing. Chet Lemon has hit a homer for the Tigers, his 8th of the year, and they're out in front of Seattle 1-0. Bouncing ball. Nice play, but he can't throw him out. An infield hit. Sandberg made an excellent play, but was in no position to throw.
Rhino's got a shot at him, but then he can't get the ball out of the glove. There you see a couple of extra steps, has some problems and tries to skip it over, but Dreesen runs fairly well. Gets in there. Now some problems for Dennis Eckersley because Parker can take you out also.
Let's pause here for station identification.
This is WGN Television, Chicago, America's #1 sports station.
Dave Parker's been getting some good cuts at Eckersley. There's a little pop fly. Sandberg is there. Makes the catch. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. So it's all tied again. 3-3 going into the bottom of the 8th. Concepcion stays in the ballgame to play at shortstop. And there's Cesar Cedeno in right field replacing Parker. And Bereni, who pitched well yesterday for them in relief, will be their new pitcher.
Yesterday was Bereni's first appearance in relief. Now he's used in a short man role. Look at those walks per innings pitched. Terrible control this year. Good strikeouts, 40 in 34 innings. He has allowed no home runs. He's a power pitcher. And you start thinking about maybe getting a man on via the base on balls and go from there.
Here's Sandberg to lead it off. Fastball inside. They're here from the Air Force Base in North Dakota. Got a good cut. They watched the game there on Channel 9. All tied up as a result of Eddie Milner's home run. Boy, there were 2 out. Nobody on when he hit it. There's a drive, deep left center field, but it's going to be caught. Milner is there. Sandberg again hits the ball hard, but this time Milner is able to haul it in. Here's the Sarge. Bottom of the 8th, tied up 3-3.
To give you an idea about Bereni's year, he's made 8 starts, but he's only averaging 4 innings a start. So he's really struggled, as that 6.09 ERA would indicate.
Bruce Bereni throws low. 1 ball, no strikes. Skies have darkened now, and it's a little cooler than it was. Whoa, he didn't mean to swing. A little tap to the pitcher, and he throws him out at first base. Matthews was trying to check his swing. Well, here's the Bull, who's a native son, graduate of Woodward High School in Cincinnati. He would love to show the home folks how he hits them at Wrigley Field. The Cincinnati pitching has held him in check. Only 2 hits and 9 times at bat. 1 strike and nothing. That evens it up at a ball and a strike. 2 out, nobody on. Well, that's when Milner hit his homer. Maybe Durham can reciprocate. He was going for it, but he missed it. 1-2 the count. 3-3 tie. Cubs won 2 out of 3 from the Reds in Cincinnati. The Reds have already won the first 2 games here and have a streak of 3 in a row over the Cubs. 1-2 is the count. Smash! The crowd cheers because they thought it was going to go into the Reds dugout. But the players are protected by a screen. 1-2 the count. There's a drive, again it's foul.
He's throwing that slow curveball on the inside part. If Leon can wait a little bit, that's not a difficult pitch to hit, but he's a little too quick and he's pulling him foul.
1-2 the count. That evens it 2-2. Jim Frey was kicked out of the ball game. So was Mario Soto. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ball 3. Keith Moreland on deck. Big pitch. Popped it up. First baseman Dreesen is there, and he grabs it. So it's 1-2-3, nothing across. At the end of 8, tied up 3-all. Brad Golden will lead it off here in the top of the 9th. He tripled in a run on the 4th. He was the game winner for them in the first game of the series when they shut the Cubs out 3-0. He drove in the first 2 runs on that occasion. 2 balls, no strikes.
In the late innings, you like to keep the ball away from the hitters. You don't want them to pull anything. Eckersley has had a history of giving up some home runs.
There you see John Vukovic and Don Zimmer. Strike call. 2 balls and a strike.
Warren Brewstar warming up in the bullpen for the Cubs. He is what's left of the short relief corps for Jim Frey's stalwarts.
There's a looper in the right field. Another base hit for Golden. And Moreland fires towards second base, not in time. Boy, that little guy kills us. He tripled in a run in the 4th. Now he doubles to start the 9th. And
it's a breaking ball right down the middle. And he does pull it, something you really don't like in the late innings. By the time Moreland can grab the ball, Golden, without great wheels, is in at second base, and now Golden will come out.
And let's see who.
Tom Lawless at second base.
Tom Lawless very fast, running for Golden. And here's Krenchicki. Good handler of the bat, a good bunter, left-hand hitter. He tries a bunny bunch foul. Lawless will have to return. Tom Lawless.
This is a good situation if Krenchicki misses the bunt to try to pick Lawless off second base. A lot of times a runner will stray. If Jody can get the ball down to Larry, they might have a shot at him.
There's a strike of the knee. Lawless swiped 46 bases last year at Indianapolis. 3 different years he stole over 60 in the minor league. so he can fly. 0-2 the count. Whoa, just missed. Dale Murphy just hit his second homer of the game for Atlanta, but they still trail the Cardinals 12-9. There's a base hit. The go-ahead run's going to score. Here's Moreland firing towards the plate. The run scores easily, and Kenchicki advances to second.
That's a bad play by Keith Moreland, letting Kenchicki go into second base. He's got no chance to get Lawless. And he throws a rainbow into Jody Davis, and now they've got an insurance run standing there at second. Watch this one. The ball is slowly hit. No chance for Moreland. The throw is high. It can't be cut off, and taking the Cubs out of a double play possibility.
So Kenchicki, after falling behind on the count, single to right. And the Reds have taken the lead. Here's Oster. He bunts. Say's only play first base is sacrifice.
Back by 3.
Let's see who the hitter's going to be.
Cedeno was inserted in the outfield
he's coming up
defensively.
now. He came in, they switched their lineup around, and Cedeno is batting where the pitcher ordinarily would be. And he comes up in a key spot with only one out, an insurance run at third, and the Reds trying to make it 3 in a row in this series, with the finale due tomorrow, already leading 4-3. Cedeno, you know, with one out, hit the little roller yesterday that looked like it was going to be an easy second out. Only was fumbled for an error, and then Dreesen also hit one. It looked like it would be an easy out. It was fumbled for another error. And Cincinnati eventually scored the 2 runs that turned defeat into victory. Now they're in the process of trying to repeat. Infield in. The count evens up with a ball and a strike. Cedeno, still a good hitter. Batting .360 for the year. Boy, he was such a ball player a few years back. Strike at the knee. 1-2 the count. One out. Top of the 9th, 4-3 Cincinnati. Cedeno digging in. Kenchicki, the runner at third, just missed with a breaking ball, and it evens it up 2 balls, 2 strikes. A cordial invitation to you to spend Memorial Day holiday tomorrow with us here at Wrigley Field. Founded back and out of play. Eckersley. Trail 1-0, then 2-0, then got the lead 3-2, but a 2-out homer by Milner tied it up in the 8th. And things have been downhill since. 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to the shortstop, holds the runner at third, throws the first for the out. Boa held Kenchicki at third and fired to Durham for the out. Here's Concepcion now. Remember, he batted for the pitcher. So he comes up again in the pitcher spot. which is where he batted originally. There's a strike call. 2 men out, a runner at third. The ball game in the ninth, 4-3 Cincinnati. A little bit low. That evens the count, a ball and a strike. Eckersley wants a new baseball. Eckersley's allowed 9 hits, 4 runs. Hasn't walked anybody. 1-1 pitch. A little bit low and outside. Moreland due to be the first hitter in the ninth. Will be Moreland, C, and Davis. Wide again, ball 3. Gary Ritas on deck. You know Concepcion will be swinging if the pitch is good. He wants to drive that run home. Ball 4, he wants him. That's the first pass he's given up. Could be tiring a bit, huh, Steve?
Well, he's thrown 2 complete games this year, but there's no doubt he's thrown a lot of pitches today, had a delay, so he is tiring just a little bit. It's still a very good performance by Eckersley. If he does throw a complete game, it'll only be the 5th of the year. Only 3 of the Cub pitchers have been able to throw a complete game this year. So Don Zimmer doesn't want to go to Warren Brewster at this time because Eckersley has handled Ritas pretty well. He struck him out twice, and a double in the 6th was the only hit for the right-hander.
Here's Ritas now. And the strike is called. I would imagine Jim Frey is in the runway rather than back in the office. Most managers try to have a relay system worked out that they use when they've been kicked out of a ball game. Runners at first and third. Concepcion, very good base stealer. There he goes. Fakes the throw, holds on to it. Stolen base for Concepcion. He's only been thrown out 1 time all year, and that was yesterday. It's his 11th stolen base.
Jody wisely held it.
Gary Ritas, a ball and a strike. Foul tipped it. And that got Jody Davis in the groin, but he's all right. Ahead on the count now, 1-2. We're in the ninth, 4-3. The Reds have taken the lead. Tipped it again.
Ritas has moved up a little closer to the plate with 2 strikes. He's looking for the ball away now. You can see about 3 or 4 inches. Usually he stands off the plate a little bit. Now he's pretty close.
Big man to get out to have a chance in the bottom of the ninth. There's a drive way back. Matthews is there to make the catch. Good old wind on that one. Ritas fly deep to Gary Matthews. 1 run, 2 hits. No errors, 2 left. We go into the bottom of the ninth. Can the Cubs pull it out again? They trail 4-3. Harry Caray back at Wrigley Field. The Cubs have gone over the 400,000 mark in home attendance, about 165,000 ahead of a year ago for the same Villardello behind the plate. Here's Moreland to lead it off. First pitch swung on. Fly ball, easy out. Milner there. Moreland on the first pitch flies out. Here's Ron Say. Say is 1 out of 3 today. Jody Davis on deck. Eric Davis is playing right field in place of Cedeno. And Dan Villardello is the new catcher. Bereni does a drive. Deep center field going to be caught. And the wind hurt the Cubs that time, just as it did the Reds a few moments ago. 2 gone, it's up to Jody Davis. Cubs have had only 4 hits. I tell you, this Vern Rapp has done a pretty good job of using his pitchers.
There you take a look at Vern.
Jody Davis with 2 outs. Bereni has made 2 pitches, got 2 out in this inning.
Richie Hebner on deck. He'll hit for Larry Bowe if Jody Davis can keep it alive.
There's a line drive into the left field corner, a base hit. Jody's on his way to second base. The tying run is at second with 2 outs. And here's Richie Hebner coming out.
Well, they've hit the ball hard off Bereni this inning, and this is the only thing they have to show for it. A fastball on the inner half. Jody pounds it a foot fair. Jody's off to second base, and now Hebner will get a shot. Let's see if Vern Rapp goes with Bereni, or it looks like Ted Power warming up. He's been the ace short man for the Reds. And now a pinch runner for Jody Davis.
Dave on. And remember, with the bases loaded yesterday, Richie Hebner struck out against Bereni. He's coming over, talking to Jay Johnstone, who's on the on-deck circle. Hebner will be batting for Boa. And Johnstone is out there in case it goes that far to pinch hit for Eckersley. Villardello, the catcher, out there talking to Bereni. The tying run is at second base with 2 outs.
And it looks like Vern Rapp wants to make a change. He's coming out. The man who's been doing it for him this year in short relief has been Ted Power.
And it looks like that's what he's going to do. Hasn't indicated yet, though. Bereni is 1-5 for the season. He's been a big disappointment.
He's going to let him stay in the game. Kind of a surprise, I would think. Let's see how it turns out.
Oh, for one end of those right field bleachers right about now. The wind is blowing in. But Milner proved you could hit it out. He had a cut at the fastball, but he fouled it off. 1 strike and nothing. Milwaukee edged Minnesota 5-4. Toronto beat Cleveland the first game of a doubleheader. Swung at a terrible pitch. That's the pitch he struck out on yesterday. Baltimore leading in California 7-0 in the fourth. 0-2 the count now. Dave Owen hoping to have a chance to score. That one bounces in front of the plate. And Bill Ardello made a good stop again. He's had Hebner chasing that pitch into the dirt. Boy, he is a big, hard thrower, isn't he?
Well, he's 6'3", 220 pounds. And when his arm is right, he throws as hard as anybody.
1-2 the count. Foul tip. Again, he chased a bad ball. And they're sure not giving him a good pitch to hit.
He gave him a hittable fastball on strike one and then threw 3 straight breaking balls down and into the dirt.
Rennie with a count of 1-2 on Richie Hebner. Struck him out, a pitch into the dirt. The game is over. Second time in 2 days where the Reds all congratulating each other. And it is no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. The Reds have won the first 3 games in this series. And boy, that has really dealt the Cubs
Here are your totals for Cincinnati. 4 runs.
a good right cross to the chin. We'll be back with the totals in a moment. Harry Caray and Steve Stone back at Wrigley Field. The bad news is the Cubs have just lost their 3rd in a row to the Cincinnati Reds. The good news is the Cubs are still in first place by a full game over the Philadelphia Phillies.
One more bit of good news. Dennis Eckersley threw a complete game, only the 5th complete game for the Cubs this year. Eckersley looked pretty good.
All right, here quickly now the totals because we have to run. 4 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors for Cincinnati. The winner in relief, Bruce Berenyi. He now has 1-2 and lost 5. For the Cubs, 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors. The loser is Dennis Eckersley in his debut as a Chicago Cub. And in this debut, he indicated that he's going to be of considerable help indeed to the Cubs the rest of the season. Final score, the Reds winning again, edging the Cubs 4-3. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon, leadoff man time at 1 o'clock. Now with Steve Stone, Harry Caray at Wrigley Field. The year's biggest crowd was on hand, but Cincinnati edged the Cubs 4-3. Hope you enjoyed the telecast. So long, everybody.
Our participating advertisers in Cubs baseball were Bud Light. The best has a taste all its own, satisfying but never filling. Zenith and your Zenith dealers. At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on. United Airlines. You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies. Canon, the official 35mm camera of the 1984 Olympics. Union 76 and your neighborhood Union 76 dealers who invite you to go with the spirit of 76. Toyota's exciting cars and trucks for 1984. Toyota invites you to see them at your local dealer. And by True Value. The more you've got to do, the more you need True Value hardware stores. We've got what it takes.
Our next televised game will be between the Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds tomorrow afternoon. Our telecast begins with the leadoff man at 1 o'clock. Our executive producer director is Arnie Harris. The graphics and our assistant director, Joe Carneo. Our sports editor is Jack Rosenberg. this has been a WGN Television 9 sports presentation.